want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Still blows my mind, man. Still blows my mind.
That's weird.
It still blows my mind. Man. Kids in Africa. Still blew up right after that. It's nuts. Nuts and nuts.
Okay, I found it. So tomorrow, so somebody noticed, I was watching Lynette Zhang, that she has some pictures behind her.
Zhang? The gold lady. Welcome to Truth Tuesday, everybody. With the first ads on Lisa's channel. Now we're jumping over to my channel. It's nice to, hey, Jim's here. Nice to see everybody here, man. Good to see everybody. Okay. So yes, we were talking over on Lisa's channel about a lot of stuff. I've been out for a while because I've been sick. Still not feeling great, but I'm probably still going to the doctor. I have a doctor's appointment, but it's not for 3 weeks or like 2.5 weeks. So my
checkup.
I have friends here. Well, it's supposed to be for a checkup, but now it's going to be for a bunch of stuff. And my doctor's terrible. He's the worst doctor in the world.
Then go to a different doctor. Get a functional medicine doctor.
My nurse is good. He was my original. Went to my doctor for like 30 years. But obviously, then he was very old, so he retired. And his replacement was an ER doctor for like 20 years or 10, 50. So he doesn't have a lot of experience in being a doctor. He's got experience in like slapping the Band-Aid on and telling you to check with your regular physician, which now that he's a regular physician, it's not. He's
different.
He's a nice guy. He's all right guy. An osteopath. See, I'm gonna have to go in, and they're gonna give me referrals to stuff, and then I'll have to go to someone else. But all right. So we were talking about how all the big current wars right now, with going to trying to get us to get in with Iran, and with Ukraine. Iran is not an oil-rich country. I always thought they were. I always thought that was the whole thing. The whole Middle East, but the countries that are oil-rich countries are aligned with the United States. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, which is one of the reasons why they do bad things. We kind of look the other way because they're oil-rich countries. But Iran is not an oil-rich country. They have oil, but they're not considered an oil-rich country. But they are the breadbasket of the Middle East, which I did not know until recently. That's their main thing is agriculture. The same with Ukraine. We didn't really. I mean, I knew that because of Stalin. He fed the Soviet Union and starved the people of Ukraine to death. But Ukraine is like 70% of like wheat and bread stuff comes out of Ukraine for all of Europe. So I think that what's coming, the next real shortage for humanity in wars, you're obviously going to be over food. These places. I mean, can you imagine if the two bread baskets of like half the world get any kind of nuclear fallout or any problem with them, poison at all? It would, in a rich America, then we would be the breadbasket for literally 70% of the world. So there is that. What? Yeah, cut around the huge air base. Yeah. Yep. Duct tape. Duct tape is it fixes a lot of stuff on the human body, and in fallout you can use it for everything. But I thought that was interesting. I thought that was really, really interesting to find out that all the places that are like looking at huge wars are the place where the bulk of food is grown and for most of those continents. Um, all right,
that's
now, go into whatever you want to talk
surprising.
Yeah.
What's that?
Now,
what do you want me to tell you about watching Lynette Zhang?
Yeah, you were watching Lynette Zhang.
Yeah, so I was watching Lynette Zhang, and somebody in the comments, there's always great information. Like if you can get on a live chat, like when we do our show, we have great contributors in the community. They jump in the live chat with more information. You can always learn more that way. So I was watching Lynette Zhang, and somebody noticed that there's a picture of this Pope behind her. That's who was made a patron saint. But he's Saint Pius X, which I'm like, well, all the X stuff with Twitter and all that kind of stuff. But he was most known for opposing modernist interpretations of Catholic doctrine.
You want to share it?
I can share it. Yeah. Let's see. Your screen. Here you go. But basically, they're talking about he's liturgical reforms, scholastic theology. He initiated the preparation of the 1917 Code of Canon Law. It's the first comprehensive systemic work of his time, and he's a saint in the Catholic Church. So I just thought it was interesting that tomorrow happens to be like his day. I don't know what the tie is. I don't know why Lynette Zhang likes him, but the timing of this 1917 canon law and the corruption that is the Vatican, I'm sure has something to do with it. So I had to guess.
Okay. So this is a weird thing. So little Sean, I was born into half Irish Catholic, the other half Italian Catholic, New Jersey family.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very Catholic. So the Pope was a big deal when I was a little kid. And then my mom wanted to get divorced from my biological father, and the church is like, no. So my mom said, we're Methodist. So that happened. But it was a huge thing.
Yeah.
But like my family was like, literally, that's dumb. That because my father was a terrible person. So anyway, I learned about the Antichrist. I was like 4.
Mm.
Yes, I was like 4. I had 4, 3 to 5, but I'm thinking 4. And about the Antichrist and who it would be and blah blah blah. And I remember just everyone would love him, maybe blah blah blah. And then I was at church, and I was like, oh, so it's going to be the Pope. And, oh my God!
Really?
Everyone freaked out. I'm like, it's going to be the Pope. It'll be the Pope, man. Because the Pope had just died. It was like Pope John Paul, beloved Pope, and then it was a huge thing about who's going to be the next Pope, and everybody was like, I wasn't around for JFK dying, but like my family was, it was like, we had cousins die, and they weren't that beat up, and people they were like distraught, So I didn't fully understand it, just that this dude was like, the head of the church that we, but so I was like, oh, it's going to be a Pope. So the Pope's, going to be the Antichrist. And then, so since then, every time a Pope dies or something, I would freak out. And I'll tell you, I'm going to have you freaking out in a minute. But I thought that was weird. It was like my first conspiracy that I came up with on my own when I was 4 years old. And it was not popular with anyone around me or my family.
I'm sure you probably got your knuckles wrapped with a ruler or something for that.
The nuns were really mean to me. Oh, I didn't really think about that. That was when my mother was trying to get divorced. That's probably why they were so vicious. I had to go to two. It was like 2 or 3, and I had to go to like daycare. And this one nun was just, she would beat me unmercifully, but she would have like the kids pick on me. She had like 20 kids pile up on top of me one time. I couldn't breathe.
Oh my God.
I blacked out. I completely blacked out. And there was like a nice nun who it's very foggy, those 3. But I remember she did get in some trouble and I didn't have to go back there. But anyway, what was I talking about? It was my first thing. What was I talking about?
The Antichrist and the Pope.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. Okay. I don't remember now, so I'm going to tell you this. So there's this the Vatican has everything. When it comes to information, technologies, all that kind of stuff. They got stuff from the Nazis. They got stuff from their own powerful country. And they have this book from the 1500s that this guy wrote. In the book, he made several predictions. All of them have come true. And if you have you ever been to the Vatican?
No, I would never go there.
How? I've been to the Vatican many times. What do you mean? Don't say it like that. It's the Vatican.
It's horrible. It's a horrible place that they torture children. It looks like
that's what I was going to talk about. Stop.
All of that.
Our government and George Washington. Remind me of that. That's what I want to talk about. Tell you when you started talking about something. So in the Vatican, there's the Hall of Popes, or there's like these circles of every pope that's ever been, and like a picture of them, a painting. And this guy from the 1500s predicted every single pope that has come so far.
Really?
That alone blows your mind. Blows your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the
like
Hall
my
of Popes,
name or describing them, or what do you mean?
both.
Okay.
We're not both for every single one, but some of my names. Okay. But in the Hall of Popes, there's these circles with the popes. There's only enough room.
Oh, you've said this before.
One more pope.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. There's no more room for popes. And in this guy's book, here we go. In this guy's book, he said after this pope, it just says Judgment Day. And something like the apocalypse, but it's not. I forget the exact word. Some people say apocalypse, but it's not apocalypse. It's because I thought it was like apocalypse. No, that's terrible. But it's something similar, but it's more geared towards judgment. It could be apocalypse for the church. But there's also
movie comes out that I was showing that preview on.
Also, there's only enough room for one more pope, or for that. That's it. There's no more in that hall. That's just how it worked out. So I have this. Let me see this one.
2027 as well. You guys want to hear something terrifying? The prophecy of the popes.
Oh boy.
This book in the Vatican archives predicted every single pope from 1143 all the way to our current pope. But the scary thing is, after Pope Francis, the last one, it just says Judgment Day.
Oh gosh.
It literally ends after Pope Francis?
Yes. The creepiest thing, inside St. Paul's Basilica, bordering the whole inner sanctuary, is a picture of every single pope. But what's weird is that there's only a certain amount of markers where you can put a picture. There's one left after Pope Francis. They have always said once that last slot is filled, it will be the end of the world. What he predicted, the time it took to go from the first pope that he wrote about to the halfway mark was 422 years. And he's saying from the middle one to the end, another 422 years will be the end of the world. If you do 422 in the middle pope, which was 1585, that year is 2027.
Dang!
It's even weirder. Pope John the 23rd, he said that the end of the world would happen 2,000 years plus Christ's life. So that adds up to 2027 as well.
So that's really weird. But from what and I don't know about the adding the years from the middle one, but and the end of the world. I think it could be read as into the church. Or I remember what it was. The end of Rome and the destruction of Rome and the church. That's what it was. The
I'm fine with that.
The apocalypse or whatever of Rome. That's it. Okay, I remember now. So now, which I thought was creepy and weird. I remember when we moved to Texas, and we became full gospel. Because my mom's a reverend, or she was a reverend, Methodist reverend, and we came here. Everyone's Baptist. I didn't know there were so many weird offshoots of Christianity.
Same thing with me when we moved from Texas to Oklahoma. I never knew.
You're a Church of Christ?
Southern Baptist. My husband was raised Church of Christ. Like,
are those the ones that don't sing?
I don't know. I think they maybe don't have musical instruments or something, but maybe they sing.
I don't know. When I first got married, I was like, hey, we want to find a church. So I went to this town, and my ex is like, oh, this Church of Christ, they don't believe in singing or music or anything. I was like, that's weird, because like my church was in Killeen, and it wasn't a mega church, but it was like I considered a mega church because I'd never been in a church that where it's just like a big, huge auditorium thing. And they had like concerts and electric guitars, and it was like a mega church. It was like a little mega church.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was far for us to drive. So we went to this, and everybody was like pissed off, but they weren't. They were just they were just so somber. And then when it was done, they're like, "Hi, welcome. Oh, it's nice to see y'all." And I'm like, "Why were you frowning? Why was this going on?" Because I walked in, it's like, "Hi," and they're like, "How dare you speak?" And then
I think it's a really strict environment. I'm not familiar.
They also don't believe in the Holy Spirit.
They
also don't believe in the Holy Spirit. They believe the Holy Spirit is just like a universal translator in Star Trek.
Oh.
That it's so you can understand different languages or something, but it's not part of those. I was like, how do they not believe in the Trinity if they're Baptist? Anyway,
sounds confusing.
They hold the dances around things. See, so I went to this. I explained this. So we were full gospel. And I'm like, what is that? It just means we believe everything in the Bible. So the Bible says you can hold snakes. Because people always say, does that mean you believe you can hold snakes? And I was like, yes, we believe that. But it also says to not tempt God. So it says you could, but don't do that, because then you're tempting God. Okay. So here's the weird thing that I just learned.
Is this the George Washington part?
This is George Washington thing. But I want to know if you knew this, because I didn't know this.
I probably don't.
I don't think you do, because it's fucking weird. Okay. So I grew up north, and it's very different. When I grew up, I love Philadelphia. It's one of my favorite towns. I'd love to go to Philadelphia all the time. Because it was like a city, but it was super historical.
Yeah, all the history is amazing.
Yeah, that's the real. It was the capital of the United States, Philadelphia. So okay, the Liberty Bell. Like to go, I could touch the Liberty Bell. So up north, it's much more. I'm sure it's not anymore. It was much more colonial, much more patriotic is the word I'm looking for. So
it was also probably around the bicentennial or whatever.
That's another thing. Yeah, I remember.
Time
it was like 1978, so there were still just American flags everywhere. They were just dirty because they were up for 76. But I remember like 78, 79, it was 80. So anyway, I love going to Philadelphia, and I never understood why they moved stuff to DC. There's all the weird things about DC being it's a city state, just like the Vatican, just like
London. Yeah.
So, so here's what I found out, and this blew my mind. This blew my damn mind. What does DC stand for?
District of Columbia.
Right. Now, do you know what Columbia is?
Do you mean the country?
No. What does
No.
Columbia stand for?
I don't know.
Columbia is the queen of the gods. She is also known by the name Isis and other gods. Do you know what's on top of the Capitol building?
Mm-mm.
The statue of Columbia,
Isis.
the god. When you
And then across from it is her dead son's.
when you walk in, yes, that's right. Did you know that her son is also her husband? Yeah, the story's weird, but it's very weird. It gets super weird. So when you go in, you ever been to DC and went on tours and stuff?
Never.
Okay, you've missed out on a lot. So if you do, you go. Okay, so you go in, right? When you go into the building, what is the original giant, huge statue when you first come in of what?
Abraham Lincoln.
Columbia.
Oh, I don't know then.
Yes, it is the same statue that's on top. It's the original statue right when you come in. Do you know what the building was called when they were making it, when they were building the building?
Nope.
The Temple of Liberty.
Oh, of Liberty.
The Temple of Liberty, which is a temple is what? A church.
A house of worship.
Okay,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, when I'm learning this, remember how offended I was at Crenshaw and all of these people back on January that day when they talked about people invading the sanctuary and they used these religious terms.
You're
and
right.
I was like, I was just like, it's just a building and it's our house. And it was
people's house. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
But now when I learned this, it's much creepier because yeah, that's funny. So anyway, you go in, here's the statue, you can look it up, right? This is weird stuff, man. And it's all there. It's in plain sight. You go in and you watch this movie in this theater and they tell you it was the Temple of Liberty, blah, 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 da, da, da. But when you go in, if you look up, there's a beautiful mural, the dome.
Oh, I've seen this. I've seen pictures of it. Mm-hmm. George Washington as a god. Yeah,
yes,
and he has like little babies or women or something.
What's the dome called?
I don't know.
The Womb of Columbia.
Come on.
I swear to you. So then you have George Washington.
Maybe it was just someone with a lisp and they meant the
George
room.
Washington as a god in the position of Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
The Baphomet thing, out the window. I don't know about it anymore. Because if you look at Jesus pictures, if you look at the Hindu pictures, they're all doing this thing. But anyway, that's something completely different. But George Washington is a god in heaven. And that's supposed to be him ascending into heaven as a god. And he's surrounded by all of these other gods. Who are they? Is it Michael, Archangel Michael? I don't have my Archangel Michael.
I don't remember. It's been a while since
it's all
women, right?
No, it's all other gods from like Saturn and mythology gods. Right underneath him in heaven, Columbia. So, and then when Lincoln died, they were showing and going to put him up there as his ascension, which is weird because he's like naked with a flowing thing, but like got a nipple showing, but he's got his beard, and it was very strange to see. So then there's a huge, the statue of Zeus.
I don't know
Is
where
the
it
lightning
is.
bolt in Greece? Okay.
Yes, I know what the image
Okay.
is.
So that image, they made a huge, like the Lincoln Monument, they made a huge statue of Washington sitting on the Zeus throne in the same pose with a sword instead of a lightning bolt. And he was the god figure of Zeus. And that was out for years and years. The black and white pictures, but you can look them up. They've put it away. It's in a museum. It's still there. You can still go see it, but it's not out for everyone to see. But I never understood as a child being in Philadelphia and just being immersed in like, this is America. This is what, and then why they moved it, the capital. Like, why would you move the capital? And I never understood it, but that's when shit changed. I think that was the beginning of the downfall of when things started to, you know what I mean?
The Oklahoma capital was moved as well. Moved in Oklahoma. Capital moved in 1910, it says. June 12th of 1910. Citizens on the 11th, they voted to move Oklahoma's capital from Guthrie to Oklahoma City.
Why?
Let's find out. Why would they?
Because Oklahoma has some effed up past. I can understand, if it's like something really bad happened or something, that's why they want to move it. But
it doesn't really say why.
See, that's there's too many whys.
It says people voted for it.
Yeah, but there's too many whys in our history that, and seeing how things are, how easy it is to change history. It takes like less than a generation.
Just says they decided or not, and it doesn't give a single.
People don't do that. People don't do that.
No, people don't like change.
Yeah, especially that big of a change. That's not this. No. I always wondered why. Which I was friends of mine. They had a channel called Consent of the Governed.
Yeah,
awesome dudes. They had a rock band back in the '90s that was so far ahead of its time. It's very like their songs would be popular now. You can check them out on Spotify. But anyway, they what were we just talking about? Oh, hey, music. So I just said, music today has no soul. It's not just that it sucks, because it sucks, but still, like, all music was like, and people don't even listen to it. Like, my kids put on, Paramount, or they put on a movie that plays in the background, or Seinfeld or whatever. That's just, instead of music, they don't listen to music anymore. Whenever they rode with me, they're like, why is it weird when Dad drives? And then Alex was like, oh, it's because he has the radio on. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? He goes, you listen to music when you drive. That's weird. I'm like, you guys don't listen to the radio? They're like, no. We listen to some podcasts, but no. That's just strange. But anyway, so my friend who has this rock band says the reason for that is because they changed the frequency of what music's recorded and played at from 433 hertz to whatever.
44.
And I was like, okay, weirdo. Well, I went over my head. Then I look into it, and it's like, oh, that's a very real thing. That at this frequency that music was recorded and played at, it made the body feel like happy, and it had an effect on, like, at the cellular level. It's a real thing, right? That some hertz, that is true. Some hertz hurt, because we've seen that now with the Cuban syndrome, or what's it called? Guantanamo syndrome. That there was some weapon used against American soldiers there. Now they all have weird stuff because of a sound attack. But anyway,
heard of that. Not just at Quantum.
But anyway, so if you look into it, they changed this. Something you never heard of, like the Dairy Council. When you look into the Dairy Council, it blows your mind. It's run by the government. That Got Milk campaign and all that. Like there's like weird. It's not conspiracy theory. They're actual conspiracies, and they pump like hundreds of millions of dollars in tax money. The cheese caves. Remember I told you about the cheese caves? All that ties to cheese caves and everything. But the government paid hundreds of millions of dollars to like Pizza Hut and all these other places to like buy their cheese and sell more cheese and have advertising for cheese. Anyway, getting off topic. So this music, whatever this industry is that basically runs music and decides how music will be recorded. They say no longer will anyone in the music industry record at this frequency. We're moving it to this frequency, 440, whatever. And that's it. And ever since then, music has been at this other frequency. And that's what my friends who's a musician said. That's why it doesn't feel like there's no soul. There's no, the music doesn't move you like it used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because we're like an antenna, our DNA strands and all of that. And so it makes sense that frequency.
But then people started saying that. You change the frequency for this. You change the frequency and it's to do this. And
so do you think changing these capitals is because they're on ley lines and it changes the frequency with the ley line?
No. My point was about the whys. Like, why did they change the capital of Oklahoma? So you ask the question. Here's the thing. People are like, you change the frequency to do this. This is the conspiracy theory. You change the frequency because music was good for people and helped it could inspire people. It could get people so they're not depressed. Now we have so much more depression. Things are terrible. So there's a lot of, ancillary proof. But this whatever thing that controls all music, they said, no, there's no difference at all. And that's the end of the argument. And then my question is, then why did you change it? If there's no difference at all, why did you change it? And no one asked that. They're people. They say, "Hey, you did it for this evil reason," and they're like, "No, we didn't. There's no difference at all." Not just people should just ask why. Israel is our greatest ally. Okay, why? Not an argument. Not in your face. I don't want to fight. Just I would like to know why. And if there's not a reason, and you can't give a reason. This whole climate change thing, have you seen this dude who like everyone hates this guy? And now it's spread to our own government is doing it. It's awesome. They have these experts on and they're like carbon footprint. We got to get carbon dioxide and carbon. And I think it was Cruz or Kennedy was like, so you're an expert on, the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. He said, and this is a question, what percentage of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide? And they're like, I don't know. And like, you want us to spend billions of dollars and change lower population and you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, what should it be? How do you know what it should be if you don't know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we know, that it's bad. How do you know it's bad if you don't know what it is? And it's like, percentage of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide?
I do not.
0.04.
Wow.
Not 4%, 0.04.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you know how much of that humans make up?
I have no idea.
Less than half of that. Less than half of 0.03 or 4. I think we're responsible for 0.03 of the whatever. So it's less than 1%. And this is it's like, and these people are the experts. These people are the ones calling for legislation. These people are the ones calling for all that. So people should ask why, and demand answers.
Well, I looked up the stuff about the state cap or the U.S. Capitol, and it says it was moved after 7 years of negotiations by Congress to establish a permanent seat for the federal government. The Residence Act, July 16, 1790, was a compromise between several factors, including location, because the northern states wanted a capital in their region, ideally Pennsylvania, New York, while Southerners supported the capital being located near agricultural interests that owned slaves.
What day? What day was it?
July 16th.
Look at what day we went to the moon.
Oh, really? Interesting. They go on to say that.
What's Sean's birthday?
Oh, that's right, July 16th.
Yeah.
Public health. They also said too much influence in New York. Federal government. Okay, here's governmental authority. James Madison argued in 1788 that the federal government needed authority over a national capital to maintain and protect itself. The Pennsylvania Mutiny of 1783 also highlighted the need for the government to, quote, not rely on any state for its security, what just happened on January 6th. The Resident Act was allowed President Washington to select the site on the Potomac River, blah, blah, blah. It was named the District of Columbia to honor Christopher Columbus, and the federal city was named for George Washington. That's their story.
What's the capital of Ohio?
Oh, God, I don't know.
It's Columbus.
Okay.
And so it's the District of Columbus?
Right. You're right. It's not
Columbus.
Columbus.
No, but they have the statue of Columbus in the capital, right?
Yeah, not ISIS.
It's not Columbus. It's Columbia. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love it. I love it when you go conspiracy with me.
It's
good stuff.
That's offensive because it's dumb. You know what I mean? Like, that's so easily picked apart. It's
that was their excuse of Columbus.
Yeah.
Then why didn't they call it Columbus?
Yeah. Why would you call it Columbus?
Yeah.
Oh, there wasn't enough room on the first arrival. What?
There wasn't enough room.
It's actually less letters, isn't it? Columbia versus Columbus.
Yeah. It's probably the same. B-U-S. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is hilarious. But yeah.
I love when we do history lessons. That's good stuff.
I didn't know about the deification and the weird, and how it's supposed to be heaven, and there's no archangels. There's no.
I'm gonna show a picture to everyone so they know what you're talking about, because it's weird.
The dome, the womb of Columbus. Columbus has a womb, right? That's the dome.
Columbia.
Yeah, they named the dome the womb from Columbus, the guy.
Oh, it's nothing comes up when you put the womb of Columbus.
No, it's the dome of the Capitol painting.
Yeah. Weird. Okay. Inside dome. Tool. Painting. Oh, I can't really see it very good on my. Oh gosh, here's a weird one. Yeah, you can kind of see this. Well, it won't zoom in very good. There we go. Holy cow. Present. Apotheosis of Washington, it says.
Oh, I got those. Yeah. But you have the there it is. So there's, and that underneath him. Who's that? Who's underneath him?
Somebody with that weird shield. I keep seeing that shield everywhere.
That's Columbia.
Oh, that's her.
Yeah, and if you can zoom out, and you can see he's in. I
can't on that one, but there's another picture. This one.
There you go.
The full.
There you go. Yeah. Sure. If you could zoom in, So, yeah, there you go. Okay.
See, these are all women, though.
Yeah. Well, no,
That
there's
guy.
over to the
Yeah.
left. You see that guy right there? That's Saturn.
This one?
No,
This-
over to the left with the spear by the
Okay.
rainbow. No, left bottom ring.
Left bottom ring.
Giant
Oh, right here.
headdress.
I'm
See,
sorry. Right here.
Yeah, that's Saturn. Then up there is Poseidon or whatever the trident guy.
Over here.
No, other left up.
Oh, here.
Yeah,
Okay.
see. So they're
I think I'm still going on.
and then you see the space by the trumpeter next to Washington.
Yes.
That's a little space. That's where they were going to put Lincoln. And it was so weird, shirtless Lincoln with a flowing robe and his like top hat and beard. It just was odd. So type in, or here I'll show it. I gotta move this over. And so this is just so weird. So this is the statue of Zeus, but it's Washington. He's got the sword instead of the. And this used to be just out in front, but they put it in this museum now. So
Maybe that's why Putin was riding around on his horse without a shirt
see,
on.
Look at him, dude. He's got sand. It's so. And
Sand?
Sandals. See,
Oh, I thought you said sand.
it's giant toes. Wearing a toga. This is the same. It's Zeus. But Zeus is a lightning bolt, and he's got a sword.
And no shirt.
Yeah, if you look at a, see, well, at least I would say at least Abraham Lincoln has some shoes on. So. Yeah, here's when it was outside. So it was originally outside.
And this is like in the 1800s?
No, because they had photographs here. So it was at front of the Smithsonian.
Oh, weird.
And this is on the side. What is it? It's Moses or Hercules. No, it's Hercules. It's Moses. They bid both go down the. Or is that another baby? That's a baby and a snake. It looks like in a reed basket.
What?
That's weird. So Hercules killed the snake, right? He was in the reed basket. I can't see the. Well, let me go there.
Very strange.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's weird. Okay.
Thanks for the history lesson.
The deification of our leaders is so. Yeah, and it's not.
Yes, that's wrong.
It's also like deifying them in a certain culture, which is
Even just calling them leaders. Remember, they are servants.
I said servants.
Yeah. Yes, we have to change the way we talk.
It is nuts.
Remind them.
Yeah, that's I don't call them leaders anymore. And did you know like there is no Democrat anymore? Everything's Democratic.
Oh, I know. Everything's Democratic. I met this lady at a friend's house, and she hates Trump, and she's a big Democrat, but she just kept saying Democratic. And I said, it's not Democratic, it's Democrat Party. She goes, oh yeah, I knew that. And I said, and we're not a democracy. We are a republic. And she goes, yeah, and Republican. And I said, yeah, because we're not a democracy. We're a republic. And she was like,
Did I see? I've been okay. I don't think I talked to you about this. So you know how you're always talking about crazy shit, and how like the post office is the head of so much stuff, and Admiralty law, and there's law, and the U.S. corporation, and the Social Security, all that. Okay, so, and this has to go with the freemen and all these other people that even
You
if
mean
it's
the Freemasons?
no, the freemen. I'm a free man. I'm not part of your corporation. Those people.
Ah, I see.
Okay, so
National kind of thing.
okay, so the United States is a corporation. It has incorporated. That is true. And but this blew my mind. There are two United States. There are two sets. No, there's not. There's one United States, but there's two Americas. And there is one that was fought for by George Washington, and we became a republic. And then there is the corporation who is not a republic. You can call them a democracy, you can call them whatever. But we live in a dual country. There's two different countries. So it would make sense that there's two different governments. And I think that's crazy talk and weird.
Are you talking about continuity of government, like the military being in control, and then now Uncle Cliff is saying that like discontinuity is showing up in the language?
It's all minutia. I'd like you to say the beginning of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag and the country for which it stands.
Allegiance to the United States, and the way it was originally written, pledge allegiance to the United States and to the Republic.
And for which it stands, yeah.
Not the Republic. Or pledge allegiance to one and the Republic. And I was like, why is it two different things that you're pledging allegiance to? Because I was like, this is all crazy.
I have to go back.
This is all crazy bullshit. And then I thought, because I always say words matter. Words matter. And I was like, why did I say and the Republic? So
the and?
It's and
the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag, which is everyone's like, it's the Admiralty flag and the student.
So it's not saying to the United States and to the Republic. It's saying I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
The flag is for the United States, incorporated, 13 stripes, 13 original stars.
But then he goes on and says, one nation indivisible.
Under God.
For liberty and justice for all. Didn't say under God.
But it does. I got to look it up and find, because this dude was talking about it from like back in the 80s.
Wikipedia has taken God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. They say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. No God part. Not one nation under God. They literally took it.
That's what we are. We are a corporate. That is true. That's what he was talking about. How these corporations really run everything, but that it's legal because they're the United States of America. They're the corporations. They're the United Corporations, the United States of America, incorporated. They are.
Yeah, and so if they go bankrupt, we'll be fine.
But now then there's the Republic for which it stands. And those people they say they're sovereign citizens, which even if it's right, they'd still get locked up. And there is, that's why they call it spelling when you write stuff. The definition of a person is a dead corporate entity, which I have seen videos where those sovereign people, they go to court and they start spewing their shit, and some judges run away. Some judges actually do run away and just whatever. Trump.
I've never seen it. I know David Straight's wife was. I don't know if she's out, but she was in jail for quite a while, and from taking that stand. So I don't know if that has a lot of water anymore for me. But
Definition
good
of
point.
person is
I am. That's an interesting way to look at it. Well, let's talk about it next time because I got to run. I got a meeting right after this. But yeah, good to catch up and lots of good information. Thank you.
Okay, well, you guys remember to hit the like button. It was good hanging out with everybody. Love y'all. See you next week. Take care. I'll just play the pop iron.
I guess this will fix them. Watch.